You know, I really don't appreciate... Wait, what? Hey Internet, it's Jessica, and welcome back to Chess of Blades with the secret route with Sabre, and I'm still not comfortable with it, mainly because, you know, this is actually playing off of Arden's route, and he's technically the bad guy in Arden's route, and it's more of the fact that he kind of, like, threw himself on Rivian, and I get that, you know, we're all supposed to be romantic with him, but, like, it's just weird to me. I don't know, especially considering we don't really know Sabre that well. Unlike the other boys, we got to know them and then it's all cool. Don't really know this guy, so not sure how I feel about it. Anyway, let's continue. After recovering my wits somewhat, I shake my head to clear it of the dreamy haze fogging my senses. In the span of just a little while, I learned that Sabre's accent is fake. He's somehow aware of the disciples of Ignatius, and he has a penchant for kissing hapless noble on the spot. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? Sighing heavily, I rise from the crate and make my way back up to the second floor. When I enter the guest room halls, the thought of Arden resurfaces in my mind, and how much he had been bristling if he saw me what happened back there. For a moment, my heart is weighted by the sad feeling of a promotion almost. I don't think it will ever go back to how the way they once were. We're both different people now, Arden and I. Oh god, that means we're not gonna get together with him. Makes me sad. Very different. A part of me will always treasure him, but there's no way I'll ever let him know that. It would be too painful, I think, for both of us. When I return to my room, I gaze out the window into the dimming sky, where the rain had finally let up. I suppose I'll go down for dinner tonight, and then... A nighttime tryst in the garden is what Sabre said, wasn't it? What an absurd invitation. Does he think that we're in some sort of cheesy romance novel written for a swooning female audience or something? More realistically, it could be some kind of trap. I know nothing about Sabre and his motives, and if he hides his true nature on a regular basis, then what else might he be possibly hiding? But at the same time, he seemed to know something about the disciples, so it's possible he may have some valuable information. If I could get him to trust me, maybe he'd divulge in whatever he's hiding, and I could get to the bottom of this. What was that kissing business all about, though? Some kind of bizarre joke? After all, I got the impression that he and Kieran were, well, you know, together. You know, it's probably better not to dwell on this too much. I'll just ask him about it later, since jumping to conclusions rarely ends well. The only place I want to jump right now is off a cliff, so I don't have to worry about this tangled mess any longer. Well, you know, Ruben, I feel the same about you. I flop down on the bed and bury my face against the pillow. Dealing with the assassination attempts, chase, startling revelations, spontaneous kisses really takes it out on a man. I'll just catch a little nap before dinner, and then... Why are people always banging on my door? It's probably just Arden telling him he had an uneventful search. Yes, I'm coming! Don't dent the wood! Letting out a hefty groan, I ooze off the bed, rubbing my hazy eyes as I head over to the door. You know, I really don't appreciate... Wait, what?! Wow, I really didn't expect that. What is going on? Am I still asleep? Or is standing before me really... Hazel, you're safe, but how? Emily, when did she come back? The maid is clutching her daughter tightly to her side, a complex blend of huge relief and lingering concern lining in her features. Hazel beams at me brightly like her normal self, but she also looks a little shaken up. My head is overflowing with questions.
So, Rivian, you have my endless gratitude for helping return Hazel. I don't know what you did, but...
If this is not, like, his dream or something like that, and Sabre actually returned Hazel, that's really interesting. I wonder what, you know, drove him to do that, because if I think about it, it's not like they really had, like, a firm relationship to be like, he's sorry. It's just, like, it's kind of weird, because when we got to the fight with Arden's route, he wasn't giving up Hazel at all, if you remember that. So that's why I think it's kind of weird that, like, after their makeout session in the fucking closet, he's just like, yeah, I'll just give the girl back. Emily shakes her head in disbelief. Her eyes are a bit red and puffy, and I can tell that she's been crying a great deal.
She returned to me less than an hour ago. My sweet child, completely unharmed. I couldn't believe my eyes.
As if to make sure her daughter is still real, Emily leans down and tightly squeezes Hazel in her arms for a moment, nuzzling against the girl's hair with her eyes closed.
Mum, you're messing up my ribbons.
Hazel complains half-heartedly, but she seems very happy to be back with her mother, and no wonder. Well, I'm glad she's back safe. It wasn't due to anything I did, though. I've just been asking around for information, that's all.
You... really? But Hazel said...
Looking confused, Emily glances from me down to Hazel with a tilt of her head to one side.
It's true. That's what they said to me. The one who was keeping me trapped.
The little girl lowers her gaze, biting her lip.
I was told not to say a word about who kidnapped me, or else very bad things would happen. But they did say, thanks to Rivian for freeing you.
That's so weird. I don't know, I just feel like it's a little bit, like, odd considering there's no, like, true mutual feeling between Sabre and Rivian. So, like, did the fact that Rivian's saying, like, oh, she's like my little sister, everyone should be caring about this little girl and finding her, did that really strike a nerve with him? What on earth? Is this some kind of strange roundabout threat? More importantly, how do they know my name or who I am? Is Rosa's prophetic statement about my father's enemies coming to get me really coming true?
She refuses to say anything about her kidnapper, so it's hard for me to feel at ease, but... Sir, please be careful. Whoever that person is, they're still out there. I don't wish for you to be their next victim.
She trails off, still clutching Hazel tightly but gazing at me with looks of concern. That makes two of us. What a strange turn things have taken, eh? Attempting to play off my nervousness, I chuckle awkwardly and scratch my cheek. Oh god.
Don't talk to any strangers, Sir Rivian. Just stay in your room and I can guard your door.
She's so cute! That's very kind of you, Hazel, but I think I'll be alright. I reach out to tussle Hazel's fluffy hair. She's even less of a guard dog than Arden, more like a guardian chinchilla.
Well, stay safe, sir. Once the celebration is over, hopefully Hazel can tell the guards who was behind all this, and we can all breathe easily again when they're behind bars.
Emily's words make Hazel lower her head slightly for a moment. For some reason, she seems conflicted. Thank you. With luck, the celebration will wind down without any more unnecessary excitement. I grimace dryly, feeling dubious about my own optimistic statement. This is so weird. This route is so weird. After saying my goodbyes to Hazel and Emily, I wind down through the corridors towards the main hall, my unhappily empty stomach forcing me straight to the dining room. I ponder the strange event of over a quiet dinner, trying to figure out the meaning behind everything while chewing on a piece of well-cooked asparagus. Ugh, it's so strange. How do people eat vegetables? I muse over the situation between absent-minded bites, but end up sinking further into confusion. A part of me almost wishes Arden was here for me to bounce off ideas off of, but, well, it's probably safer for him to not be involved. Finally, with a belly full of an unsatisfied appetite for answers, I leave the dinner room and contemplate on what to do next. Well, I can't just ignore Sabre's invitation from earlier, can I? Even if it's not the safest plan to go wandering about this hour, I'll just have to hope for the best. Oh dear. When I step outside, I'm greeted by the freezing night air. The rain from earlier must have cooled everything off, leaving a pleasant crispness in the breeze. I stroll through the hedge maze, looking for a head of spiky orange hair. Hopefully tonight means around this time and not a wee small hours in the morning. As romantic as that would be, I can't think of a better recipe for getting cleanly murdered without any bystanders. Ah, there he is. I spot Sabre sitting on a small bench that amazingly doesn't crack and crumble beneath him. It seems like he's in deep thought, brooding silently while slouching forward, hands clasped between his legs. As soon as he knows my presence, however, he rises to his feet and takes a step towards me.
Ah, I was wondering if you decided to stand me up. But here you are.
Yup, here I am. Yes, against my better judgment. Be grateful my heart is magnanimous enough to meet with you again after you walked out on me so rudely. As I let out a huff, Sabre's lips spread into a grin, his eyes slightly in mischief.
Oh, I apologize. It just seemed like the kind of thing that would send your heart fluttering. If I didn't play hard to get, I doubt I could have kept your interest very long.
I'm intrigued, but it's just weird, okay? You really take me for someone that fickle. I have a longer attention span than a 5-year-old, you know. Sabre lets out a chuckle at my offended remark. Then he offers me his large tan arm to me, waiting patiently. I hesitate for a moment, but knowing I've already come this far, it doesn't take long for me to accept such an invitation. Then Sabre starts to lead me towards the hedge maze, moving leisurely enough to pace that I can keep up. I feel like we're getting murdered in the middle of this. Can I ask you a question? It's been nagging in the back of my mind for a while, but why have you been paying so much attention to me? Sabre's eyes flick down towards me, narrowing faintly. It seems to be a thoughtful expression rather than an irritated one, though. Do you know my father, perhaps? Or is it possible you met somewhere before?
It's not really like that. The simplest way to put things is, well, I've been watching you since the celebration started.
Why? Because you wanna blame the kidnapping on me? The slightly guilty way he avoids my gaze for a moment catches me off guard. What reason does he have to be watching me? I never noticed him until today. Was I entirely blind to his presence? No. With a stature like his, that seems impossible. That means he must have been concealing himself.
Let's just say I had my reasons. Though I was under the impression that you were a very different man.
Yeah, so was I.
You took me by surprise. Not in a bad way either. I'm not one to involve myself with nobles, but you're not like any of the other ones I've met before.
He comes to a halt and I stop beside him, studying his features with confusion. I'm the same as them! I'm different! I'm special! No, it's 100% sure freaking Rivian is different. He's not like, the same like the other people. Yeah, sure, he's rich, and like his parents are like important people, but like Rivian's like not an asshole compared to the other nobles, if you know what I mean. Like, no one at this party cared that the fact that, you know, Hazel went missing and he was the only one searching for her. I guess I'm a little different from most of the other noblemen. They've all gone far less fabulous hair, for one thing. Of course, I also don't stoop to playing most of their games. I don't understand the thrill they get out of it, and even if one can make a great gains from attacking one's enemies, it just doesn't seem worth the risk. Well, perhaps, but still, I'd like to be someone with more of a fearsome, strong presence, like you and Kieran. I could get a lot more things done that way.
Strength or hardiness doesn't make for a good man. It's caring for others, isn't it?
Yeah.
For a while, I believe no nobleman ever cared for anything beyond his wardrobe and his riches. I've seen too many who've treated common folk like dirt beneath their boots.
With a heavy sigh that makes his broad chest rise and fall like a crumbling mountain, Sabre offers a pained laugh, his eyebrows knitting together.
But I think I've made a mistake, Rivian. I think my own anger's blinded me to everything else. And I've become the same as the very people I despised.
I know this is like all a serious moment, but it's so random because he's just like opening. This is what I mean by this. Like the root being like, there's no progress with the relationship. All of a sudden he's like, I'm emotional. I'm gonna tell you everything that's wrong with you, Rivian. I don't know if I understand the meaning behind his words. His voice sounds strained, rife with regret. But where does the pain stem from? Is it something from his past? If that's the case, it would probably be callous to dig it up too much now. Maybe it's better to just comfort him? Well, Sabre, I don't think there's anything despicable about you. Haha, you're a little rough around the edges. Maybe, you're a little rough around the edges, maybe, and you did have shaken me in my boots during our first meeting, but I can tell that you have a warm heart. Sabre stares at me like I suggested wearing brown shoes with black trousers, but I only offer an embarrassed chuckle and continue anyway. And the way you treated Kieran out, even after you defeated him, even the way you were, gentle with me earlier, it wasn't what I expected just from your appearance. I can see now, though, that you're not an angry tiger I really thought you were. Well, maybe still a tiger, but one with a penchant for belly rubs and ear scratches. That metaphor kind of sounded drifted off course. Despite my ungratefulness of my reply, a slow smile starts to warm Sabre's features. His piercing eyes soften, lighting up the hopeful glimmer, and he reaches out a hand towards me. The fabric of his bandages is a little scratchy and brushes against my cheek, but I find the warmth of his palm surprisingly enjoyable when he lightly cups my face. As I gaze up at him, I really do have a sense of being watched by a kind of powerful beast. But it doesn't make me feel afraid. If anything, it's almost comforting, like having a bear or a lion as your protector.
Rivian, I'm sorry.
What? He starts to lean in, his eyes half closing, gently tilting his face up towards his own. My heart picks up with a feverish pace as I stand on my toes a little, drawing in the compulsion I hardly even understand. At that moment, I catch a glimpse of a shadow behind Sabre's back. I recognize that shadow. Ugh. What the hell? Acting on impulse, I grab Sabre's wrist and sharply pull him down to the ground with all my might. What the hell is happening? Sure enough, something sharp goes whizzing over our heads a moment later, softly thudding to the ground nearby. A small knife. A quiet grunt and disdain comes from nearby, followed by the distinct sound of a blade being unsheathed. What? Sabre leaps up to his feet within a moment, grabbing me by my coat, and he hauls me up and shoves me behind him, casting him into a powerful protective shadow of his towering back. As I thought, the assassin from earlier is the one who begins to approach us. The sword of his hand clashes in the moonlight and gleams in the murderous intent. Sabre, we should run! We're unarmed! I hiss at him, tugging in the back of his coat, but he doesn't budge. Is he a madman? Giant or not, a sword's a sword and a lot more dangerous than fists.
You coming for me now, are you? Good. I'll send you back as a message.
Sabre growls a low threat, his enraged glare focused on the assassin. Possible. Do they know each other?
I couldn't have my match today, but you'll do. Come on then, you spineless bastard!
Okay. And with that, he abruptly pushes off the grass and charges forward straight to the shadowy man. Despite his vengeance of his blade, Sabre's cold confidence seems to throw the assassin off. He quickly dodges to the side, moving at great speed thanks to his worries looking for him. As I saw earlier, though, Sabre's far from slow. With remarkable swiftness, he stops his charge and directs his weight towards the assassin's new position, throwing himself towards the other man. I grit my teeth together. I can't believe he's challenging someone with a sword like that. Is he really sure of his abilities? Uh-oh. As the assassin swipes at his blade, Sabre twists his body, avoiding the razor-sharp edge. Then, he throws forward with a savage kick, which slams right into the side of the darkly clad man's legs. Then the blow makes the assassin stumble, but leap back far enough so that Sabre can't follow up with another strike. He's remarkably agile and quick, just like a cat. An evil, angry cat! I watch in petrified silence as they lash over and over, circling each other like two fighting animals. Even though Sabre has no weapon, he's evidently evenly matched against the armed man. The aura coming from him is different from earlier too. It's not excitement or competitiveness, but a potent bitter rage. Suddenly, Sabre swings at one of his fists, right at the assassin's hand holding the sword. I shut my eyes tightly, unable to watch. There's no way. He can't. What, did he beat him? When I open my one eye, I see something entirely unexpected. The assassin's wrist is trapped in Sabre's grip, and the sword is lying on the ground by the feet. Ooh, okay, well, this guy's dead. Sabre's other hand is firmly grasping on the man's neck, squeezing so hard that it might likely be starting to struggle for air.
I want you to tell them Sabre's done with your filthy, treacherous game.
At those menacing words, the assassin, kicking and squirming, stops, and he nods his head desperately. Sabre's lips are peeled back to reveal his sharp teeth, bared so fiercely that it looks like he's about to take a bite out of the captive's flesh. There's not even a bead of perspiration on his forehead. Does that mean there never really was any contest? Sabre was superior all along?
Now scamper back to your masters before I bash your head open on the ground. And don't come near us again.
He throws the assassin backwards, and the man tumbles on the grass. A moment later, though, he leaps to his feet, taking off in the maze at a sprint. It isn't until his footsteps and figure disappear entirely that I realize I'm still on the ground, watching Sabre with my jaw gaped. I hastily push myself up, brushing fragments of grass from my trousers. Luckily, Sabre doesn't seem to have noticed my unrefined position, since he's still glaring in the direction of the assassin ran up towards. However, when I tentatively approach Sabre's side, he turns towards me, brows still deeply furrowed.
You should head back inside.
You know, I'm surprised that Rivian isn't putting 2 and 2 together, you know what I mean? Like you already know that the assassin is part of the Disciples of Ignatius. You wouldn't think that maybe Sabre's connected to it when he said, tell them Sabre is done playing their games and shit like that. His words, while gruff, are concerned enough that I can't muster any indignant response. He definitely just saved us both. I shudder to think what would happen if I'd been here alone. Will you be alright? You're not injured or anything. He shakes his head grimly, rolling his shoulders back.
Thanks to you spotting him first. Could have ended up a lot nastier.
Sabre curls an arm around my waist and starts to pull me out of the garden. His step is a lot more hurried than before. I have to semi-jog to keep up, growing tense from the silence that falls between us. We make it back to the main hall with any further words. However, when Sabre lets go of me and continues walking in the direction of the main castle exit, I grab onto his coat. He turns to look at me questioningly, seemingly surprised that I stopped him. Back there, you knew that assassin, didn't you? How? My impatient curiosity makes Sabre's mouth tighten in a downward line. His eyes burn for me for a long moment, without almost a ferocious intensity. But after a lengthy pause, he lets out a deep sigh and shakes his head.
Old acquaintances, that's all. Loose ends left untied.
Once again, I'm still surprised Rivian doesn't know.
Now, you'll have to excuse me for cutting off our date so sharply, but I should be getting back before anything else happens.
I bite my lip in frustration when he turns back to me, but my heart briefly leaps when he glances over his shoulder, a faint smirk reappearing on his face.
You should come to the arena tomorrow. I'll be fighting Kieran again, and I'd fight a lot better with some encouragement from a lovely fan.
Yeah, sure, let's just pretend we didn't almost get killed in the garden, Sabre! He flashes a little side grin at me before turning to stalk off towards the large castle doors. I watch him until he leaves, feeling a mixture of disappointment and lingering excitement. The last words still echo in my ears. It's strange, but I'm rather miffled that he left so suddenly, even though I was still low in acknowledgement of our meeting as a date. Okay guys, I'm gonna end this episode right here. This whole route is so confusing. He returns Emily, and then he's all nice, and then he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna kill the assassin, and Rivian's dumb and doesn't realize like he's actually the bad guy. I don't know how I feel about this once again. It's a little bit weird, I guess, because this route is very short considering it's a secret route, but maybe we'll see how Rivian reacts to Sabre in the next episode if he finds out that he's a part of the cult. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to join the companions. And also, if you would like to support the channel on Patreon, the link is in the description. Or you can support the channel for free with gawkbox.com/agirlandagame. And if you guys use that, of course, it will help me continue this series and continue the channel overall. So please let me know in the comments what you guys thought. I'm still confused, but we'll see how this ends. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! He stood up! Oh, okay, that's my bad. I should not have given her the pen. What the fuck, dude? Oh, she has pepper spray. Oh, it's so awkward. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, too. She gauges my awkward expression and giggles.